Okay, yes, we are all set to go.
Okay. Stand by. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, this is Select Board Chair Dan Zwerko. I am confirming that all members are present and can be heard. Shelley Maynard DeWolf.
Here.
Vineeth Hemavathi.
Here.
Josh Levine.
Here.
And myself, I am here. We are going to, this is an open meeting of the Longmeadow Select Board. It is convened in person and via Zoom webinar as posted on the agenda and town's website identifying how the public may join. There is no chat or Q&A function. All of the materials from this meeting are available on the agenda posted on the longmeadowma.gov. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. This meeting will feature resident comments. For residents attending the meeting in person, please raise your hand when we go to the comment section of the meeting and I will call you on to approach the microphone. For residents participating in the meeting via Zoom webinar format, please use the raise hand icon at the bottom of the screen. The meeting moderator will promote you to panelists, unmute you, and give you permission to speak. If you join the webinar by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute or mute. Residents who wish to speak will identify their names and addresses only. Each individual is afforded 3 minutes for comments. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. If anyone in attendance is recording this meeting, please announce yourself now. We will now move to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next up, announcements. A reminder, First Responder Night will be held on Tuesday, tomorrow, August 18th, from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Longmeadow Town Green. Join a night full of activities, food trucks, and a canine demonstration in support of our first responders. Also, a reminder, the Future Building Use Task Force public forums. The Longmeadow Future Building Use Task Force is conducting a series of public forums to gather community input and feedback. Please join the task force in sharing your thoughts on the future of our buildings and public spaces and learn more about the current conditions of Old Town Hall, and the Community House. The next forums will be held on Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at Town of Longmeadow Municipal Offices and on Saturday, September 12th, 2026 at 4 p.m. in the Longmeadow High School Auditorium. For additional information, please visit longmeadowma.gov/future buildings. The state primary is set for Tuesday, September 1st, 2026. The last day to register to vote, if you haven't registered, if not already a registered voter, is Friday, August 21st, 2026. In-person voting will run from Saturday, August 22nd, 2026 to Friday, August 28th, 2026. Special hours for early voting and in-person absentee voting can be found on the town's website, longmeadowma.gov/elections. And finally, Parks and Rec Department happenings August 20th at 6 p.m. The last summer concert on the green, Oompa Meisters. Bring a picnic, dinner, and join for a family-friendly evening of entertainment. On August 21st from 7 to 9, Greenwood Pool will be hosting a family float and glow night. Also, Furry Friends at the pool is back once again this year at Greenwood Pool on September 11th. Contact the Parks and Rec Department for more information and please sign up. Now we will move into resident comments. Is there anybody here that has resident? Sir, please step right up. And if you could just introduce yourself and your address, please.
My name is Ken Gorenstein, 23 Sherwood Drive, and I am the treasurer of Heritage Academy. I am the one who sent Select Board a letter, and that you should have all received. And I am here requesting that the Select Board, the taxing authority, allow the town assessor to correct the valuation error that the town has made at the property located at 594 Converse Street.
Thank you, Mr. Gorenstein. And we did get your letter. It's also on the correspondence for everybody to see as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Hearing none. We will move.
one just
I'm
came
sorry. Ms. Shetler, please.
Hello, I'm Melissa Shetler. I live at 34 Ellington Street, and I am just here at a loss. Really, I don't know what else to do. And we obviously are being affected by the Converse traffic, which is understandably a short-term project. However, the traffic issue on our street has been almost generational at this point. And guidance on what we can do for any kind of safety. You know, Lynn has been responsive and has included information, but with the number of individuals on our street that have contacted the town, the shock and awe of meeting the necessary safety requirements is shocking. We are asking for essentially 3 pieces of wood and a metal detour sign to be actually placed at the end of our street, just to serve for any kind of deterrent, to help. We have a lot of kids on the street. We have had a lot of kids on the street. We have 2 more moving in this month. And I understand there's been traffic studies, you know, from 2019 that's been quoted routinely, but that's 7 years ago. You know, a record standards, I think I could probably shred it at this point. So we just want some resolution quickly on this. We are, I think, very tired of spinning in circles. We understand the traffic patterns. We don't want it closed. I don't know how else we can say this, maybe putting it on public record. We don't want the road closed. We just want help. There is nothing there right now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shetler. Any other comments? Hearing none, we will go on to interviews and appointments. First up, we have Mr. Tim McKenna for Community Preservation Committee. If you could just provide your name and your address, please.
From Tim McKenna. I live at 20 Woodsley Road in Long Meadow.
Thank you. And if you could just, I guess, tell us a little bit about your background and interest in this position.
Sure. Let me see. I'm been a resident off and on of Long Meadow since 1958. Went to Blueberry Hills School, Williams Middle School, Long Meadow High School, and then I went to college in the area, went to graduate school in the area. I'm a registered architect in Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I have lived back here. My wife and I moved back here with a child 18 years ago. Since then, I have been relatively active in town affairs. I currently have a retirement business where I'm an architect for for myself, doing several editions here in town. But my big thing with involvement with the town is I have been, as soon as I moved into town, I was asked to be on the Historic Commission and the Historic District Commission. I served for a few years on those. I was on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I did apply for, there was a vacant spot last year in the Planning Board. I have a daughter who is now going into her freshman year in Long Meadow High School, and just very, very interested in doing whatever I can to maintain the character of Long Meadow for as long as possible and share the ideas and that I have, and also the values that we hold as a community, keeping them going along and having a really well-planned and funded town for all of our activities.
Excellent. I appreciate you stepping up
Sure.
to hopefully serve the community further. Any other questions?
Have you spoken with anybody on the CPC about their duties and roles?
So when I was on the Historic Commission and the Historic District Commission, I did become friends with Steve Weiss. And actually, Steve was the one that let me know, I think it was this spring, that there was a spot coming up. So I am familiar with the CPC's role in town and what its function is, and very interested in hopefully that I can fulfill it, help the commission fulfill its duties to the town.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, seeing no other questions, we'll let you go, and we will be voting at the next meeting.
Great. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Have a good
Appreciate it.
evening.
Look forward to the opportunity.
And next, we'll move on to Council on Aging Board of Directors interviews. So why don't we have 5 chairs, why don't we bring up Patricia Self, Mary DeRosier, Lauren Elliott, and Donna Lengiza. Thank you.
Can you give some of these for voting?
I know, that's always such a long night.
All right. Well, we'll make it short and sweet. Appreciate everybody for stepping up. We have Patty Self for a reappointment.
Yes.
And then Donna also for reappointment, and then a couple new appointments. So maybe we just go down the line. If you can introduce yourself and provide your address and a quick blurb as to why you're seeking reappointment or appointment.
My name is Patty Self. I live at 5 Homestead Boulevard. I'm looking to be reappointed to the board because I would like to continue what I started. We started a new group this year called The Loan and I Don't Like It. And it really has, unfortunately and fortunately, taken off. So we've been running this program for a little over 2 years, and we're running out of chairs. So I would like to continue doing that. And I'm also looking for some models for our upcoming fashion show. I know we snagged you, Beneath, but October 7th, if you're interested, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll continue going down the line here.
Hi, my name is Mary DeRosier. I've lived in town with my husband Russ since 1974. 2 sons were educated in town. When they were younger, I was a school crossing guard. I was a cell monitor under Rick Marchese. I was an aide at Center School under Carl Tripp and out at Glenbrook again. I then, for some reason, felt as though I needed to go back to school, and I graduated the Elms with a paralegal degree, worked at Mass Mutual for a good 10 years, had a midlife crisis, and said, I'm not affecting change in anyone's life, so I became a teacher and taught for 25 years in Enfield 6th grade science. So last year I retired and I was happy as a lark, and I got to travel the Med and, you know, cruise and do things that I always wanted to do. And the following September I cried my eyes out And I just found that I didn't have self-worth anymore. So I started volunteering sometimes at the food pantry. My husband Russ does the van next door. And I don't know, Patty recruited me for voting, and I'm a clerk for the town. And I just feel as though I would like to, I don't know, dip my hands into a little bit more with Council on Aging, particularly when I was at Mass Mutual, we had a readers program where I could go into the elementary and read. And I was thinking that, I asked, and no one can give me a finite answer as to whether or not we have that program in town. So I was hoping that if I did get, the position, that maybe I could tickle my fancy and see if I could research the project and maybe move forward with having some seniors read in the elementary. So I appreciate your time and your effort, and I look forward to serving in any way I possibly could.
Thank you so much. And you do have worth. You've done a lot for the town and volunteering, so thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
And we'll move along. Donna?
Okay, well, I can't follow that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Donna Langiza. My address is 162 Greenacre Avenue, and I've lived in town about 80 years, I guess, at this point. And I feel that on the Council on Aging, the thing that is the most important is really the mission statement. And it just says that the Board of Directors is to serve the citizens of Long Meadow on issues facing today's seniors. Special emphasis is placed on activities which encourage social, physical, and mental stimulation. And then, so if we adhere to this mission, we can enable seniors to live their lives with respect, dignity, fulfillment, and enrichment.
Very
So
good.
that's it.
And you've been serving for how long on the
Oh, 3 years.
3 years?
So I'm re-upping, hopefully, for
Absolutely.
3 more.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Elliott. I live at 170 William Street. I'm currently employed as the assessor for the town of Greenwich, Connecticut. I have lived in this town, I think, since I was 5. This was actually my elementary school. I think this is Mrs. Smith's class, but anyway, I'm a graduate of Long Meadow High School, class of 1980. My parents also lived here in town, as well as my grandparents, and while they have since passed away, but while they were living, they did benefit a great deal from the Council on Aging and all the services that were provided by the town of Long Meadow. And I am an attorney. I don't practice law, but I also have my LLM in elder law care. So I think that would probably be a benefit to the town, and I certainly would like to give back to the town, so to speak. I was also on the school board for a while back in the 1990s, but that was years and years ago. So,
Wonderful. I mean, I'm very impressed just by everybody's background and willing to serve. And I personally don't have any questions, but I will open it up to anybody else.
No, thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll be voting on the appointments at our next meeting.
when is your next meeting?
That's a great question. The first,
So
September.
because we have a 17th meeting. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will move to Cultural Council, Karen Finn, up for a new appointment. She did not confirm, so I'm not sure if I don't see her. All right, we will get Karen on the next meeting. Mr. Saul Feinstone, I see Saul here.
I love these. It's where I was before. I'm back again.
Welcome back, Mr. Feinstone, and you are up for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee
Yes.
for an appointment. If you'd like to first, not that you really need an introduction, but if you'd like to introduce yourself and
Saul
your address.
Feinstone, 471 Frank Smith Road for a long, long time.
and you're up for reappointment. So I appreciate your service to the community on this committee, and if you'd like to just talk a little bit about your experience on this committee, and that'd be helpful to get
Well, I'll
members.
tell you, there are only 2 of the original 9 that are still there. I and Ronnie Levitt. The others left for various reasons, and of course, obviously, I don't know all the exact reasons for their leaving, but we just had 2 dismissed, 2 people who retired. One was the chair, and one was the clerk. Those are 2 very important positions. I took it upon myself to call Shelley and ask, since she is the person who is going to be the task force person from the select board, and she willingly accepted my offer to have her come and help us revitalize. And we're on our way. I have already invited one other person who is interested, and I'll have an application in my hand for her. She's going to come to our meeting, which we're going to have this Thursday. And with the good help of Shelley knows of another person that might join our meeting. We're going to look for some new, somewhat younger people. So everybody's younger than me, but we need young people with, you know, the modern technology that they can use, which we're losing with the 2 people that were leading the group. But there are 5 still who have been on, 1 recently, and 1 joined after the very first person left in the first year. So we got 5 solid people. Well, I call myself solid.
You can do that, that's okay.
So that's a short background. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any other questions?
Well, Saul, thank you for your continued service. How long has the committee been around now?
3. This is the 3rd year. This is the completion of the first 3rd year. Ronnie and I were at the first meeting. You were at the first meeting we had.
I was, and so I wonder, my question is now, so you've had a lot of turnover. Do you feel like you have adequate guidance or a task that's framing what the committee is doing?
Yeah, we're looking for a little more from you, but I think we're going to get it, because here immediately there's a critical situation, and Shelley stepped up. And I think working with someone on the board, at least to get us going, and knowing exactly what you folks want us to do, we'll do it, because we got the people that are willing to do it.
I think to me that's always been it's a tricky thing, because you have a large goal for the town, and it's not a very concrete one, unfortunately, but it's certainly laudable, and so we do want to provide more support. But as our newest committee, at least I know I would like to see a back and forth, and if you have ideas, and hopefully Shelley as the new liaison can be helpful with that.
I'm confident it will happen.
So am I.
Yeah, I think that was a great question, Josh. That's what Saul and I were talking about, and I think on this Thursday's meeting, we're hoping to start to get the ball rolling with that. So I have a feeling the board will see more from the DEI committee, just on kind of how they're formulating, maybe some questions they have for the select board, some things they'd like to bring forward. But to Saul's point, we do have a couple new members who are interested in joining, so we're thinking that might help us storm and norm a little bit more and come back to the board with some of our ideas and approaches.
So Ronnie and I were actually involved even before the DEI committee was formed. She and I and Linda Preston, who was the chair. She was the chair. And Ryan McCollum. We met with the staff, select board members, and with Lynn. prior to the DEI, and, you know, that was part of the reason why some of us joined. And we recruited people that were interested. And this is never more important to continue this committee as it is today. What's going on in the country right now. And I'm glad that you folks are sticking with us, not relenting and not falling into the traps that other towns are doing. So we're confident that we can. Listen, I had to revitalize another group and it worked. Let's see if we can do it again with this one.
Thanks, Saul.
Thanks, Saul.
Okay?
Yeah, very well said. And Shelley, thank you also for, I know you're the liaison, so thank you for stepping up
I'll see
to
you
also help.
tomorrow.
Absolutely, I'm happy to.
She's coming to a meeting that I facilitate. And thank you, Shelley. Okay.
Have a good evening, Saul. And we are now moving to Zoning Board of Appeals. Sorry? Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Mr. King, how could I miss you right in front of me? Historical Commission, up for reappointment. Step right up, sir.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
So if you could just start with the name, address, and why you are seeking reappointment.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom King. I've served on the Historical Commission for 5 years, the last 3 as chair. We've been doing some, in my humble opinion, some amazing work with a bunch of volunteers. We are in the throes of our 2nd property survey under my leadership, and we're really excited about that. It's a process of hiring or contracting through the town with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to look at the actual build dates of the houses. And as many of you know, the fictitious fire never happened. And a bunch of houses have the 1919 date on them. So this is a deep dig process of working with them, looking at deeds, even newspapers, to ground houses in actual dates. But that's the current project. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Tom King. I live with my husband at 73 Birchwood Avenue. Thank you to the DEI gentleman for the work that he's doing. We've been there since 2019. And in my private, I guess my professional life, rather, I run the Massachusetts Children's Alliance. I've done that for 20 years. They're a statewide organization that helps children who've been sexually assaulted. And coming to Longmeadow after quite some time away from Western Mass, I was in Boston. I wanted to do something entirely different from work. And so this has been a long-standing interest of mine, and it was just a treat to encounter people in town who are just as motivated to do something that I think would have some really impact on the history of the town. So I can't believe the last 3 years have gone by as quickly as they have. Really, I was looking back, I'm like, I think Mike has the term wrong. But here we are 3 years after the last meeting. Excited about, well, and also nervous, we are absorbing the Demolition Delay Bylaw Committee. So it isn't without some trepidation that our volunteers are wondering what that's going to look like for us, particularly as we amp up the property surveys and potentially request modifying that bylaw so that more houses are included in that review. So I'm happy to take any questions or offer more information about our current projects.
I personally don't have any questions, but it's just impressive what you've been able to do just over 5 years and you know, rolling up your sleeves for these types of projects that could just fall by the wayside. But so really appreciate everything that you're doing, you know, to represent the community. Anybody else? No?
I also want to thank the folks in town. They've been, you know, with limited resources, helping us the best they can. So really, I don't think Mike is here, but he's always available to us. And I really thank his willingness, and Peggy, to help us out with letters. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You as well.
Thank you. And we will finish up with Zoning Board of Appeals, Ellen Freeman. And you are up for a reappointment. If you could just introduce yourself, please, and address.
Ellen Fryman, 56 Curry Drive. And reappointment, I'm not sure how long I've been on. I hope you have a record. It's about 25 years or so. Anyway, I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it again. So I do a lot of land use work as part of my profession, and so seems like just a natural connection to keep doing it. And so it's interesting. I mean, last meeting we approved our first cattery, which I didn't even know was a thing. And
I had to look that one up myself.
yeah. So, but we did approve it. Anyway, it's enjoy doing it, and get to help the newer members who are just getting experience in it for the first time. And so it's not something everybody knows about, and so.
And you're always in sometimes some difficult situations on that committee or that board. So appreciate you stepping up.
Yeah, sure. No, like I said, I've been getting a lot of good experience from being on the other side of the table, since I'm the one's usually asking for the permit. So to sit on the other side is a good experience.
Great.
So.
I'll ask you the same thing I asked you in my office today. You know this is 5 more years, right?
I do. Yeah, well, you have to vote to approve me, so.
Oh, that's right.
You get the option. So, no, I'm glad that we do have some rotation, so it's not like we have the same people, which is good. So once I think that I should give up my seat and have somebody else, I'm happy to do that. So, but, I mean, we could always use, improvement to our zoning bylaws, and I don't think we really have a process for that. That would be something that we should be doing, I think, regularly. So, because we do have some antiquated provisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, but generally, I think everybody seems to be happy. We have mostly our share of, additions, adding porches, adding, things like that. But occasionally like I said, we have the cattery, we have chickens every once in a while, so keeps it interesting. So. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, we will be voting on your reappointment next meeting.
Great.
Thank you so much. That closes out the interviews for this evening, and then next we are going, we have some committee appointments as well. I know Vineeth is just itching to make a motion for some of these appointments.
I will move to appoint Matthew Schoen to a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029 to the Audit Committee.
Second. We'll go do a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Okay. And I will move to appoint Augusto Barros to a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029 to the Board of Assessors.
Second.
Discussion, hearing none, we'll go to a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
I will move to appoint William Welch and Michael Swirsky to 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2029 to the Community Preservation Committee.
Second. Further discussion, no. We'll go to a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Okay. I will move to appoint Jane Crosby to a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2029 to the Historical Commission.
Second.
Discussion, no. We'll move to a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And I will move to appoint Gerald Duquette and Jeffrey Rintoul to 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2029 to the Parks and Rec Commission.
Second. Discussion, none. We'll go to roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Vineeth. And now we will move to presentations and guest speakers. First up, the Future Building Use Task Force for a recommendation on Old Town Hall. Excuse excuse me. We have a couple members here tonight. If we could just introduce yourself, please, and we'll get started.
No, you skipped comments. We should go back to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I missed something.
Select board comments.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry.
Let's go to that.
Okay, we'll continue. We'll continue on with the presentation here, and then we'll go back to select board comments. Sorry about that, Josh.
No problem. So good evening, and thanks for the opportunity to present our preliminary recommendation for Old Town Hall. I'm Paul Dunkerley, Chair of the committee, and with me tonight is Task Force Member Earl Godfrey. So with your indulgence, a very quick opening statement. So while the task force remains hard at work gathering data on all three buildings, we are confident that we have sufficient information to make this preliminary recommendation. As indicated in the memorandum included in your packets, we anticipate that the responses received to this request for future use without restrictions will provide additional data for the task force to consider as the final recommendations are developed. We are also tracking similar efforts being undertaken by other municipalities to use as data points. It's important to note that there are some unique aspects to the Long Meadow buildings. To that end, we respectfully request that the Select Board act on this recommendation quickly in support of our efforts to provide appropriate recommendations in the time frame allotted. Thanks so much, and we look forward to moving forward with the project, and we're happy to entertain any questions you may have on our recommendation.
Great. Yeah. Well, I'll just kick things off. Appreciate all I know you've put so much time and effort into this, and you've already had one forum. You have another forum I mentioned this week as well.
Yep.
How has the turnout been, and how's the feedback been so far with just overall experience?
So the turnout was rather small at the first forum, literally 7 residents who were non-members of our committee. However, the exchange was excellent. We've also had a small meeting with, I shouldn't say small, it was about 30 people with the folks over at First Church who are abutters. And that was a great exchange. What was that, Earl?
Yes,
About 90 minutes?
absolutely. Yeah.
We've been getting more and more feedback on our feedback form, which is located on the website. And all of us are engaging in conversations around town, and with the most recent publicity that we've gathered from both the Reminder and Mass Live and the newspaper as recently as today, we're expecting that we're picking up a lot of steam, if you will. And this is exactly the time period we had targeted in terms of gathering most of our public opinion, really between the midsummer now and mid to late September. So we're right on track with what we have planned and what our public input plan has called for.
And is there like a time frame from which, just next steps, what that looks like in terms of, getting to a point where potentially we're actually shovels in the ground and that type of.
Okay, so we're a ways away from making a recommendation as to what we think should be done with these buildings. Where we are at is that we're looking at gathering data from our residents and also informing them at the same time. And again, I would direct people to go back to our website, and they can see not only the reports that you all made available to us, but other data that we've been able to gather as well, including tours of the 3 facilities. So nobody needs to walk in. Nick Jorgantis has graciously given his time along with LCTV to create those for folks. So our plan is that we're going to be face-to-face gathering data for the next 6 weeks or so. And then our plan is to take that data and construct a follow-up survey somewhat similar to the one that was conducted last summer to better hone in on what residents are looking for now that they've been educated as to what the possibilities are. And from there, we'll be developing our report and bringing it to you. But in terms of an actual time frame for shovels in the ground or what that looks like.
More of a question for people that are just curious at home. But
the honest answer, Dan, is I have no idea.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, this is obviously a process.
Yes.
The first step you have to take to move things forward. So.
Right.
And just to end the abutters, so you are actively seeking out abutters and
yes,
notifying.
Okay. Yes. So Mike Barbieri is taking care of that for us, and he is identifying the abutters, and we will be reaching out to them not only to invite them to the regular public forums, but to invite them to a forum, just the abutters and us, so that we can hear their concerns and have a better and more detailed dialogue. There have been some conversations with individual abutters already. It's kind of like people on the committee who know people or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and again, First Church being an abutter, there's a property owner that is fairly close to Old Town Hall. That initial conversation has already taken place. So the word is getting out there as well. But we're also going to do it on a very formal basis. And we're documenting everything we're doing so that we have the data to go back to when we develop and present our report to the select board.
Yeah, and the last thing I would say is really just commending the committee, because it's just such a massive project that you have to do as a committee, and there's a lot of eyes on it and a lot of interest on it, and you're making this very transparent for the community, and you're doing anything you can to educate the townspeople. So appreciate your work. Are there any other questions?
Thank you for your work, and to the rest of the committee. I was talking to my neighbor, Greg Morrison, on the 4th of July, who was very excited that with the prospect of bringing this to us early, rather than waiting for a decision on all three or however, because I agree with you. I think it's a smart thing to do. This might be an answer. I know he would know the answer to this question. You might as well. I absolutely agree it'll be cheaper for private development to do work here. Would the tax credits, the historic tax credits that Greg is all in love with, are those available to us, or is that only private as well?
The honest answer is I don't know. That's something we still have to dig into in terms of the financial side of all of this, and I know that's part of the charter that we have. That just isn't work that we've begun yet. We're still in the data gathering phase, and we're about ready now to start on that process.
Okay.
And we look to Greg to be a great resource to point us in the right direction in terms of those types of funding sources and what we might or might not be able to recommend.
Okay, great. And then either you or Lynn, what is the next? Say we put in an RFP, we get somebody has a great idea for a project, they want to buy the property. What's the next step? How would that be accomplished?
Lynn, can I jump in to start with? So if you looked at the memorandum, you'll notice that our specific language is request for future use. And it wasn't because we just wanted to pick up what the task force was named. We, and Mike in particular, guided us through this. And if we put RFP out there, or RFQ, it triggers certain things legally that might obligate the town in terms of contracts and next steps. This is more like a feeler, if you will, to go out and say to contractors and developers, what do you think of this property? What do you want to do? So you're not going to get a full-blown request for proposal response that you might expect. What you're going to get is some ideas for this particular property. And what we're really doing is we're feeling out exactly what's happening in the community and with developers with these types of properties. As I mentioned, we're tracking other properties in the Commonwealth, everywhere from Western Mass all the way out to Chatham, and to see what's happening. I can tell you that every one of these projects is a multi-year project. Most of them have been driven by nonprofits, 501c3s. A lot of them have to do with the arts. And so Mass Cultural Council and those types of organizations have been able to help fund those. But there's also, like what most recently, Westfield, their old city hall is now vacant, and they've put out an RFP on that with quite a few restrictions, and they got 0 responses. So that was one of the things that kind of triggered us to say, what's out there and what are people responding to? Again, we think that it'll be another data point for us, but it won't obligate us in any way to move forward. But to your point, if we got a response that looked really attractive, maybe that pushes us in a particular direction on that specific property as next steps.
Thank you for clarifying that. So let's say, just to go down that hole, because people will be wondering, somebody has a great idea, the committee's on board, the community seems to be on board. What's the next step after that? You do a tailored RFP Taylor-ish. I don't know the procurement law, so I don't know what I
Yeah,
can say.
and I don't either. Now I have to turn it over to Lynn.
Yeah, so we'd have to surplus the property and then put out an RFP.
So I guess surplusing is really what my question was. What's the process for that?
In a town meeting, I'll need to verify that with the town council. I don't know if it needs a town meeting vote. That's what I'm not sure about.
We should find that out before we get anywhere.
Yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, thank you, Paul and Earl, for being here and for your work. I think one thing that we talked about when we were making these appointments was that we wanted forward progress and we wanted things to move, and you guys are doing that, and so, we really appreciate that from the select board's perspective and what we asked of you all. I think that this approach of using a request for future use is really smart, and I think for the things that you said, because it does not create the same type of obligations or triggers as an RFP, that this is good to see what the options are out there. My question is there a reason why we wouldn't also do this for the other two properties? To also see what's out there for the other two properties too, and see if that could maybe guide some of the decision making?
There's a couple of reasons anyway. So Old Town Hall is not within the historic district, so that there are less restrictions on that. And we are still educating ourselves, if you will, on all the requirements from a historical standpoint. Greg and Jane in particular have been incredibly helpful, and Lenny, in helping educate the committee as a whole. The other thing is that the community house and town hall, they're the ones that are really unique that's mentioned in the memo. So for the public's edification, they are both on the same plot. So any separation of those two is going to require zoning board to become involved. It may and will likely require town vote. And then, of course, we also have the issues involved with zoning and use. Coupling that with the fact that community house is still used extensively by Park and Rec. We have detailed data from Barry on how that is being used and how many citizens, particularly kids, are enjoying programs there. And that's something that we've got to figure out and how we're going to address that as part of our plan for what our recommendation is for community house at large. So we still have more data to gather. I can tell you that the sentiment that we saw in the survey a year ago remains, that people are very, very much attached to community house and want to see that preserved. That's what we're seeing right now. Not so much with town hall. And Old Town Hall, there's little interest in town maintaining control ownership of that and programming for that. Some, but very little. Yeah, Earl, did I miss anything?
No, but I think we distinguish when we look at Old Town Hall, whether or not you'd use it. Town Hall on William Street, is there any use for it? But then you go back to Old Town Hall and it's symbolic to a lot of people. So that's kind of the hang up there, I would say. Deeply emotional, probably, not unlike community house.
Just to close the loop on one thing, Greg texted me and said that the tax credits are for profit-generating buildings, and so the town would have to form a redevelopment authority,
Okay.
and then could access the tax credits. What that
Okay.
entails, and whether you'd want to do that for 1 to 3 buildings, I don't know.
Right.
I just
Interesting, and, that might be a little bit beyond the scope of the committee in terms of doing that, other than to say, we think that this building or these buildings, should become part of the private sector. That would certainly be within the scope of us, but in terms of how that gets done, I think that it's up to folks with more expertise and authority than us.
And we're also putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I mean, we are looking at every option for all of these buildings.
Yeah.
Everything from completely rehabilitated and use it for town uses, whatever those are, to sale or even demolition. There's nothing that's off the table at this point. And again, Old Town Hall, we are, again, gathering some more data points to help us kind of narrow those things down.
One last thing for Old Town Hall. So it's my understanding that parking lot is actually, that's also owned by the town as well. So I don't know if that's part of this project as well, but.
So, and Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the plot that Old Town Hall sits on has 2 parking spaces. I think you're referring to the parking that is to the left of that. There's a right-of-way that goes in between and to the left of that. Yes, that is owned by the town, but that is a separate plot. Am I not correct, Lynn?
I believe so, yeah.
So there's some zoning things that would need to be addressed, you know, should additional parking that's available there potentially become part of the development of that property.
Yeah, because I would imagine that would be of interest to somebody,
right,
of course, for the, but I actually didn't even know that was a town-owned, that section over there until maybe a few years ago, so. Any other questions? This is really helpful. And hopefully we'll be hearing from you again, and we can keep a cadence going just to keep everyone up to date.
Absolutely, and you know, at any point, if the board would like us to come, just, you know, as your invite, come back and just let you know where we're at and so on and so forth, more than happy to do that. And I just want to thank you for selecting like some awesome people for this committee, because I think we're getting a lot done because of just the skill set that we have and the dedication of our members. So to you, thanks for picking a great group. It's made our lives easy and kind of fun.
Yes.
At least most of the time.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, next we will.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Do we know how we would take action on this? Not the necessarily one today.
Oh, so yeah, would we have to vote on their recommendation? Would that be at tonight's meeting, or would it?
I would suggest you put it on your next agenda.
Okay.
Just give some time, see if there's public feedback, and then we can have this on the next agenda, and then you could vote to direct that we put this request for future use out.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you, Josh. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And I promise we will go to select board comments, but a few patient women have been waiting to present to us for the library project. So if you'd like to step right up. And I know we've had some time over the past month or so to some of the board members to sit down with each of you and learn more about this project. So a very exciting time for the library and the Longmeadow residents. So I'll give the floor to you if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us more about the project.
Sure. Thank you. I'm Jean Maziarz, the Stores Library Director. And the library's in some serious need of renovations, not all visible, HVAC, some other water infiltration things. So a lot of things that aren't visible, but there's so substantial need for renovation. Last year, the Board of Trustees matched a $100,000 grant from CPC and contracted for a feasibility study with Johnson Roberts Architects. Their premier library architect in particular is their specialty across the state and New England, and they have completed their feasibility study with pricing, in like a great amount of detail of all the needs in the building. And Johnson Roberts, Phil O'Brien from Johnson Roberts is attending via Zoom, and he's going to do a quick run through of the the substantial needs and improvements that we're requesting.
All right. All right, Mr. O'Brien, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. I have a slideshow that I'm going to share with you. Thanks for the introduction, Jean. We've spent the last number of months working on this feasibility study, and looks like I need permission to share my screen. As Jean said, Johnson Roberts focuses on public work, and we've done lots of libraries. We've done a library in East Long Meadow. That's been a while ago now, and we are currently working on our third library branch for the city of Springfield, just for the stuff that's close by. A number of other things up and down the Connecticut River Valley. Looks like I got the okay. So I have some slides I want to share with you. I'm going to try to move through these pretty quickly. I've also made a copy of the slideshow available to Jean in the library, so they could post it if anybody wants to spend a little bit more time with it. And I think we're also planning on doing some additional public meetings. We'll be able to walk through these slides a little bit more slowly. But so the study was quite extensive, and so I'm going to try to break that down for you tonight pretty quickly. I'm going to do a quick overview and then focus on the areas, kind of the larger chunks of the library, the study that we did. And the first chunk is the entrance and the lobby. The second is the historic terrace at the front of the existing building. The third is second floor improvements. Fourth is new makerspace and some basement renovations. And then lastly is infrastructure replacements. So as Jean mentioned, we got hired a little while ago with a team of consultants, and us kind of descended on your building at various times and tried to just figure out everything that might be wrong or might need some help on your building. You've got a beautiful building, kind of 1932 building originally. You can see a little part of it on the left, and then an addition in 1992. So you're looking at a building, an addition that's pretty close to 35 years old now. So we looked at accessibility and safety, exterior repairs, the structural conditions, HVAC, electrical and plumbing systems, fire protection, technology, and then just kind of general library service needs, how the library kind of meets the needs of the patrons that come in. Our team of consultants and engineers that worked on this are folks that have lots of experience, have done lots of our library projects with us in the past and really understand what they're looking at. So first, I'm going to jump into the entrance. Your existing entrance is a little bit problematic for a variety of reasons. The ramp here is circuitous, doesn't really comply with the ADA or the Massachusetts code. The doors are kind of large and heavy. They're difficult to maneuver around. The ramp, as I mentioned, is circuitous. It's difficult to get up that ramp and make all the corners in a wheelchair. If you're on a walker or crutches, or even if you're just pushing a stroller, it's just hard to get into the building. We've got a big set of steps here and a drop-off. The drop-off is actually very popular, so we wanted to maintain that. The vestibule is a little small, and the doors are a little close together in order to renovate them. So we made some suggestions, and the suggestion is actually a very modest addition, which really helps us solve lots of problems that we have. The other issue that we're going to be looking at next is the lobby, and that really needs some updating. And so this entrance increases the size of the vestibule. The ramp becomes a straight shot right up to the door, a smaller stair wrapped around the side. The existing ramp right now has electric snow and ice melt to keep it safe, but the stairs don't. And the proposal is that both the new stairs, the porch, and the ramp would have snow melt to keep them clear. This larger vestibule also gives us an opportunity to add a little bit of space to the technical services area, which would allow us to get some of the staff that works in the basement, sharing only one small basement window up onto the main floor where they can help the patrons, and then another quiet study room here. And there's some other things that we're doing in the lobby. But there's an idea about what that might look like. In addition, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We want to do something that's going to look like it's always been there, straight shot ramp, and then set of steps that pretty much matches what you have in there now. Maintain your drop off. Inside the lobby just isn't super efficient, and it's difficult to kind of make your way around. It's hard for the staff to get support because they're kind of out here on their own with their back up to the stairway. If you take a look at the plan, the circulation desk sits here, and behind them is the stairs going upstairs, and they're hidden behind a door. And the only door to get downstairs, and there's some public access spaces down there, is to actually go behind the desk. It's also difficult to get your way to the meeting room. Folks are directed through this door, and when they walk through, they feel like they're entering into the toilets, and they need to be coached to keep on trucking, and you'll eventually make it into that meeting room. So that's kind of a problem. And again, this office is really just too small. So the solution is to move the desk to the opposite side, take advantage of this larger technical services area, open up the stair, redo the toilets, make them accessible, make them comply with the current code, open up a door, a nice double door that goes directly into meeting rooms and lobby. It's just a lot easier to see things, keep an eye on things from the circulation desk. They can see into the old building. Instead of having their back to it, they can get a look at what's going on at the children's. With the doors open in children's, there's actually a visual connection to the children's desk. All these things are what you would see in a modern library. The front terrace renovation. Right now, your front terrace is a beautiful, beautiful space, historic, not very well utilized. There's a set of steps to get up to it, and they're a little crumbly and settling. Once you get up there, there's another set of steps that gets into the building. So it's really inaccessible either from the grade outside or from indoors. If you wanted to use these lawn areas, you'd have to get over these curbs. And then there's also drainage issues on the front. And you can see there's some piping and so forth that's been added to help relieve some of the water problems we're having here. And so the idea is to just kind of fix this entire space and solve the water problems by creating some new paved areas, taking the existing steps and actually reusing them, slide them out away from the building, creating new accessible walks that get up to grade. These aren't ramps, so they don't require rails, they're very shallow slopes. And then a new walk out in the grass. And it just gives you a kind of a nice space that you can use, whether you're coming from the inside or the outside. So this could be open from the indoors. You could get out and use these paved spaces. They'd be completely accessible. The historic door is made accessible with openers on it. We solved the drainage issues. All the historic stuff on the front of the building is all restored and maintained. We're not ripping anything out that we aren't reusing. New outdoor space could be used for programming, gathering, even when the library is closed. And these are the accessible walks. Again, no rails or anything. And then we'd rebuild the stairs. So really just looks a lot like it has been historically. We don't want to mess with the historic image, but we just want to make sure it's accessible and usable for everyone. Second floor improvements. The second floor is very well utilized, but it's just a little difficult to get around. There's some tight spaces in the stacks, and it's difficult to keep an eye on folks. It's a little harder to find things. The computers are all kind of stacked up in the middle. The desk is just kind of floating out in the middle. Some of the doors, some of the rooms that people use for meetings don't have any doors on them. The space is kind of cramped, and in order to make your way around in there, we just want to kind of clean that up. It's also inconvenient. There's no toilets on the second floor, so if you need to use the facilities, and if you've got some kids with you or something, you're going to load everybody into the elevator and go down. So again, this is the existing condition with the computers in the middle, and that's the service desk with folks coming up behind that person. When they come up out of the elevator or out of the door, they're coming up behind that person. We have a large opening in the floor. It kind of eats up a lot of floor space, and we're suggesting we can close that down a little bit, get a little bit more usable space, and also help reduce the sound transmission between the first and second floor. So we're going to add a toilet here right next to the elevator and a janitor's closet. Just makes the building easier to maintain, makes it more efficient for the staff and for the patrons using it. Reorganize the furnishings, take advantage of the space that we have over here to create small quiet study and meeting rooms. That will allow the genealogy room to get closed up a little bit more and protect the materials that are in there. This is the closed up floor openings. We'll have new finishes throughout. The study rooms are just going to help prevent distractions, provide privacy. They'll be all set up for virtual meetings with televisions on the walls and so forth, so that you could plug in and close the door and have a meeting. Be able to reserve these at the desk, depending on how the library wants to do it, and just give you a lot more usability. We're seeing more and more meeting spaces and quiet study spaces in libraries now than we ever have before. The new makerspace in the basement. Now that the staff is moving out of the basement, it gives us an opportunity to take what is kind of a underutilized space, and we'll show you that in the plan, and get the makerspace, which actually takes place in the storage room underneath in the basement of the existing building right now, and folks have to kind of come down and make their way through these corridors and so forth and find their way over to the storage room. And around the corner here, past this stuff, is the makerspace area, and you have kind of the public mixing in with the staff, and we'd like to kind of separate that out, clean it up. So here's the staff work area at the bottom of the stairs right now. So it's served by the elevator, and the stairs from the main lobby come right down into this space. And this is the storage room right now that's used for makerspace. And so folks have to kind of make their way up a very steep ramp and down the hallway and find their way into the storage room. And so what we're suggesting is creating a new makerspace, a new ADA compliant ramp, closing off this door for the public so that the public is kept into this area right here, and then past this door is all staff areas. There's your existing staff room right now. It's kind of some leftover storage spaces. We want to expand that a little bit. There's 2 small rooms right now. We just want to open that up, give the staff kind of a nicer place to warm up their lunch. This is the existing staff room, worker space downstairs right now. There's that very steep ramp that gets you up to this doorway, and we want to replace that with this maker space. And then there's a shot of one of the existing staff toilets. They really just getting kind of tired and needs to be updated and brought up to code. And so that will be a staff toilet, new public accessible toilet down on this floor, and the staff room. There's a proposed idea about what that maker space might look like. And the last is infrastructure. So we looked at the HVAC systems, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, and so forth. And we found that our engineers agreed with the 2012 Town Facilities Report that stated that the HVAC system was at the end of its life then. It still is at the end of its life, and it's obviously gone past that. And so the recommendations are to replace the boilers, the chillers, the hot and cold water systems, fan coil systems, new exhausts for the toilets, custodial and storage rooms, mechanical ventilation systems. You don't have one in the building now. The only fresh air is what kind of leaks in around the windows when it's hot or cold outside. And so having fresh air introduced into the system is just going to make the air quality so much better. And then to add a building management system so that you can monitor the system's operations. There's obviously a cost associated with this, but there's also going to be some energy savings because the systems are just so much more efficient than they were in the past. You need to take a look at them. You're looking at systems that are about, coming up on about 35 years old. Most HVAC systems are good for about 20, 25 years in general. For electrical systems, you've got some code violations out there right now. There's really not enough outlets in the building. You just take a walk around and you can kind of see what the library's doing to kind of get by, and so we're suggesting updates to your electrical system, a new service coming in, replacing your lighting with LED, energy efficient lighting, making sure that you have enough outlets. Your fire alarm system is actually going ahead. A new addressable system is going in as a separate project. Fire protection. This building is a steel and wood frame building, and you actually don't have a sprinkler system in the building at all right now, and so we're suggesting adding one. And then security and telecommunications, CCTV, card access for some of the critical doors for high security and so forth. That'll all be compatible with the town-wide system. New telecommunications. You'll actually have an MDF room with air conditioning in it and a rack where everything gets mounted rather than it just all piled up in a kind of a spot in the building. And then lastly, the exterior repairs. You have a beautiful, beautiful building, but it's been a while and it's starting to show. Water infiltration is becoming a problem. We've got water infiltration in some of the brick. If you take a close look at this back porch here, that folks drive by on the exit on the way out. This steel door is rotted. The salt and sand and water is getting into the brick. The stairs are starting to break down. The cladding at the lower portion of the building has got water infiltration, freeze-thaw problems. Lots of the wood is rotted out, including some historic elements, and we're getting water infiltration in the building, and it's damaging things. These things just tend to get worse. We're also going to install sump pumps in the basement is the plan, and then once we get it all restored, we're going to repaint the outside of the building, and it should look great when we're done. So the whole idea is preservation and restoration to make sure we can get another 100 years or so out of this building. On the site, it's pretty limited. Accessibility is a little circuitous and not really safe, and so we'd like to connect the sidewalks together with ramps, and we may even do a raised table just for safety, slow traffic down, rather than having to kind of just rely on the paint for your safety. We're going to take another look at the lighting, looking at LED, dark skies compliant lighting, so all the light will shine down, none of it will leak over the property lines, and just kind of general repairs to the curbing and the planting areas. I know I moved through that stuff pretty quickly, but we also looked at ways that we could deliver this project. We looked at it as a single project, which you can see in yellow, and we also looked at breaking it down into 4 or 5 phases, which you see in the blue. Single phase could start as early as next year, would wrap up in a couple of years, looking at a construction cost of about $11.9 million and a total project cost of about 14.8. Project costs include fees for designers and owner's project manager, a little bit of furnishings for some of the new spaces, moving temporary facilities, allowances for electronics, utility back charges, escalation contingency. We try to make sure that this number is all-inclusive. So that's the idea, is that once you get to this number, there isn't anything else you have to come back for. If you break it down and do it into a series of 4 or 5 different projects, and you do them over the next couple of, every 2 years or so, you'll be kind of designing one while they're finishing the construction on the other. About every 2 years, you'll finish up in about 2035. As you can imagine, breaking projects up into smaller chunks just means that you do the design work numbers of times, you do the construction, you hire contractors numbers of times. So those fees add up, and then of course the escalation for waiting to do related projects. That's all built into these numbers. And so you're looking at a total of the 5 projects of about $14.9 million in construction costs, and total project costs of all those projects out through 2035 of about 18.6 or 7 million dollars. So it's obviously it's up to you folks, but it's obviously a little bit more affordable if you can do it all at the same time. And rising utility costs. This slide is from the library. You can see just the utility cost of the electricity between FY 25 and 26, as well as their natural gas costs between 25 and 26. Those things are going up. And obviously having a more energy efficient system is gonna help with that, keep some of those down. This is really the slide to talk about the cost of doing nothing. So there are costs, and as we mentioned to the library when we took a look at the outside and some of the water infiltration issues was mentioned to them, these things tend to get worse, and they kind of escalate pretty quickly, and they can get pretty expensive. So we're suggesting that some of those things get taken care of as soon as you can, just to preserve this beautiful old building. And that's me. That's it for my show.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Nice presentation. Any questions out of the gate here?
Yeah, I got Center School in my mind. How are the windows?
We replaced the window.
You did?
Center School.
No.
Center School, oh,
No,
I'm sorry, how,
library
the
has new
window,
windows?
we have great windows.
All
Yes,
right.
they were replaced, just before the pandemic.
They probably saved us $100 million right there.
Right,
So,
right there.
Yeah, your windows were done as a replacement project not too many years ago. They're actually pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Done by another.
So the roof, was done too within that time frame, and then the windows. We had consecutive projects funded through CPC.
Yeah, we think that the water infiltration that we're seeing is probably a combination of some coming in through the brick in some places, and then there's also a little bit of ice damming that we noticed. We were back during the winter, and we noticed that you've got some ice dam issues and ice that is actually getting behind the trim where the gutter is on the face of the building. And that needs to be addressed in order to keep the water out of the brick and it's getting in into the ceilings up on the upper floor in some cases.
Yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you for all your work on this and for your presentation. In the multi-phase project proposal, what would be the sequence of the phases? Is there a project that would have to, be the first one that needs to be tackled before you can move on to the next one, or also trying to get an idea of prioritizing the phases as well.
We
Oh,
can't hear
he
you.
might be muted.
Oh,
We might have muted him.
we might have muted you, I guess.
Our speakers are, oh boy.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Oh, we
Should I
could-
jump in and answer that question?
There you go.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So we did look at the breaking the phases down, and because of the new entrance work that we want to do, which is basically replacement on the main entrance, that's going to shut down your main entrance for a short while, and so doing the terrace first would allow us to use the front terrace as your accessible entrance. But the most critical thing is probably keeping the water out of the building. So I think breaking off a chunk and doing an exterior repairs and restoration program that will help prevent additional water damage from creating additional problems or even potentially damaging new work that happens inside. We think it may make the most sense to do those things first, and then take a look at doing the terrace out front and then the entrance next, so that you could take advantage of the front historic entrance while we're working on the new side, and then we would move into the building, and then last is probably the HVAC in the second floor. But there's a variety of different ways you could break it down, but our suggestion is actually laid out in detail in the study.
Okay, great. And then I think also, if I recall, I looked at the study a couple months ago, but there's a number breakdown, right, that's provided for each phase, for how much each phase would cost, right?
There it
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
There it is. It's broken out into 5 phases.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just want to add, while we're talking about the phases, is I have applied for an ADA municipal grant. I'm not going to have a reply on that until December. But if we do receive that, that would be, we could start going on that front terrace project and the exterior envelope of the building. So that's the goal, if we receive that grant, is to get going on that in 2027.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And this is a state grant?
It is.
Okay, great.
It's a state, the ADA municipal grant, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think just seeing some of the renderings of what the terrace could be. I mean, you look at that terrace now, it is, as you mentioned, it is beautiful, but that there's so much potential there, and what what the space could mean for our community and our town, and how people could actually use that space, and some of the things that you mentioned too, how this could open up new programs like gardening and things like that the library could offer. The library already does such a good job of offering programs that so many residents in our town make use of. I've got 2 little kids. I was just at the library today. So I'm well aware of the role that the library plays in our community. So thank you for the work on this, and I think that these are definitely things that we need to be looking at, and this is great that you've already taken this initiative with this ADA municipal grant application.
Yeah, thank you. And also want to add about that front terrace, of course, it's beautiful, and it would give us an opportunity to utilize a space that we really can't right now. But it's just a lot of the projects, and that terrace, I think, is the biggest portion that speaks to the fact that it's improving the appearance, but it's so much more than just appearance. What's also happening with the terrace project is we're addressing water infiltration that we're getting every time it rains, and every time it rains, staff is vacuuming up water, and DPW's coming, and we're removing all the damaged materials that are down there every time it rains. So it's not just making things pretty, it's addressing some serious other issues as well.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, yeah. So I think it was last year, you had a legislators breakfast at the library. Are there other outside funding opportunities for something like this beyond the ADA grant you've already applied for?
Well, we will be seeking every opportunity we can find. CPC funds, of course, we'll be applying for those, but we are in the process with a lot of the members of the Board of Trustees are here. They've really been vital in pushing this project forward, and we're all researching grants and seeking to apply. I have to say, this is a lot of money. I'm a taxpayer too, right? But a public library is so vital to a community that I think it's just greatly needed. I mentioned that the board matched the CPC grant to get this study done. We've also received to this date, without really launching a full capital campaign, we've already reached about over $300,000 in private donations toward the project, designated toward this project. The board has also committed to contributing a substantial amount from their endowment fund, launching a capital campaign, and applying for every grant we can find. So we're very committed to making this happen and bringing the cost down to taxpayers. Of course, I know that those are all in the process of happening, and we can't commit to those before we ask for this to go to town meeting, vote on a warrant, but we are actively pursuing every opportunity we can. We're all taxpayers too.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I certainly agree with you that it's an incredibly important thing. It's a point of pride for our town, and it's a building we want to continue to be proud of and to admire. I was just in Woodstock, Vermont with my wife, and they have the most incredible library I've ever seen, just from the outside. And when you have that in your town, it sticks with you.
It should be that, really.
Yeah.
People come looking for homes here and they visit the library.
Right.
It's just part of the aura of a town.
Right.
Yeah.
So I agree with that, but we're in a tough
We are.
tax, a tough environment.
Mhm.
People have been have voted for a lot of big projects. I appreciate the efforts to limit this in the library and to address the biggest needs, and also taking advantage of that beautiful building and keeping improving the facade and keeping the character of it. So I think you've all done a fantastic job, and I was happy to hear that the East Long Meadow Library. I grew up in East Long Meadow and had an office there for a long time, and that is a gorgeous building that is absolutely something that the town. It's right in the center of town, and it is something that people. It's a focal point, and ours is. It's got that imposing facade set way back off the street that an incredible amount of families go past every day. So I think you all did a great job on this. And I also, as a taxpayer and as somebody who hears from taxpayers, it's great that you're doing a lot of work to lift the burden out of people's pocketbooks to the extent you can.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, Josh, to build off of that, and I agree that our library is an asset to our town. I think we're all saying that the price tag is big here as well, but I appreciate the effort and the detail gone into this plan. I was thinking that given the budget task force and the analysis that group is doing right now, Lynn, I was wondering if we could ask Ian to kind of take a look at this proposal, and whether it's the 14.8 or the 18.6, and kind of help us figure out what that type of expenditure would do to our debt over the years. And so we could almost have the task force take a look at this for us, and then come back to the select board with what that might do, because I think, Jean, you just said it, this does have to go before the town on one of our warrants for voting. I think it would be helpful for us to know before moving forward with that, what would this do to the overall debt incursion for the town, and how would that truly impact taxpayers in the years coming. That might help the library determine which phase or phases they would want to move forward and which they may put off. It might help us as a select board advise the library what they may or may not want to do. It's just a thought, but leveraging that budget task force to help us to do that financial analysis might be a good a good option because we're like right in the thick of that right now with that task force.
Thank you, Shelley. Oh, go ahead, Jean.
Another piece I should add, considering the building committee that was just before us, if we could do the whole project, and I know it's a big ask, but to do it all in one shot, we do have, I would hope, an opportunity to we would have to move out of the library, and having some vacant buildings in town, hoping that would give us some space where we could at least have a temporary library. And so the timing of this, I think, could be good before a permanent decision is made about those other buildings, because we know it's going to take some time to make those permanent decisions about the other buildings. So just throwing that out there too, that the timing could be good for this, which would save, built into Phil's very thorough, but project cost. There's costs for every phase of the project, moving in and out of areas of the library, and costs for renting space. And right there, by doing it in one shot and doing a temporary move to a currently vacant building, would save money from this project cost proposal.
Thank you.
But that's also a really good point. Just a quick question, sorry, Dan, and I couldn't see Lynn. It was when I was talking about the budget task force to see if I was making her cringe with that ask for an Ian. But I'm just thinking with what we talked about at this week's task force, it's kind of perfect timing. But Jean, I didn't know if the library had a time frame, like if you had a certain town meeting you were wanting to come before and get the vote on. I'm just trying to see if timelines align, but it might be helpful data for you to have before we decide whether or not that goes to a warrant.
Sure. I'm being very aggressive with this and would like it to go to the November town meeting.
Okay.
This November 2026.
That is aggressive, but I like it. I think if we could maybe provide some of that information, that might be helpful as we move forward. Or if we move forward.
As I'm sure you've seen as voters in the town, getting a debt exclusion through is no easy task. And it's a PR problem. It's not a political problem. It's not a legal problem. It's a PR problem, and that's. I think you're already on good footing because you're with the library. That's most people love the library, but.
We do know we have a lot of work ahead of us in that area, in the PR area, and we have some forums scheduled. We're planning to be at every public event. We've been at the concerts on the green. We'll be at Pride Festival. We'll be at every public event that's happening in town, plus forums. Everything we can do to get the word out more. But
yeah, you have trustees, but if you have an outside group that is advocating for this, signs, and you got to get a groundswell if you want to get through, because you're not convincing anybody at the meeting. It's getting into the meeting.
Sorry, and just kind of relatedly, the ADA municipal grant, what is the possible amount that you could be awarded for that?
$250,000 is the largest grant that they will they give.
Okay.
So, but that would give us a good start on the front terrace and the exterior.
Yeah. Okay.
Just if we were to do this in phases, that's priced out as the first phase. And to do the exterior envelope of the building, and that's addressing all the rotted soffits, etc., and doing the excavation and redoing the terrace, it's just under $2 million.
Okay. And you said that you will hear back in December?
In December.
Okay, great.
I wish it was before town meeting.
Right.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to comment on what Shelley said, or asked. I think that's a great suggestion. I believe that it's something we can start working on now, Ian and I, I don't know that we'll have something for the September 8th select board meeting, but we can commit to doing that for the second meeting in September.
Great. Yeah, and one of the things, and
Thank you.
one of the one of the things that really resonated with me, and I know we talked about this before, I just want to highlight this when I met with everybody at the library was really the cost of doing nothing. And I just feel like that is something that's so important that we should really be talking about, because to Shelley's point, if we're looking at the numbers, like, we need to look at the numbers as if we're not doing anything at all, and what that impact would be to the building, to the town, to our budgets. I mean, every year we're hearing from someone in town, from DPW, saying this building is failing, or we have an issue here. So, I mean, we suddenly have to find money to fund these projects. So, I mean, I fully support the project. I think we all do, but I think we need to look at really what the library. It's a huge asset for our community. I mean, it's not just dollars and cents, especially at a time when, let's face it, our libraries are literally under attack. Our books are under attack. So I feel like this, more than ever, this is really a time that we can, stand together as a community and build an inclusive environment. Which, by the way, a few years ago when we did the long-range plan in town, we made a commitment that I served on that we were going to make our community more inclusive, and spend money in areas that benefit the greater community. So places across the country can have their attacks here and there, but right here in Long Meadow, we're going to stand up and support these types of projects. And as long as I'm on the board, and I'm sure others that are here tonight as well, we're going to support these types of projects. So with that being said, I get pretty fired up over these things for a good reason, but I know we're all coming from a good place, and I think this is something that we can all support, but it's up to you to get out there and spread the message. So.
Sure thing.
All right. Well, on that note.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks to the board for your time.
All right, and I had skipped over select board comments. Thank you, Josh, for bringing that up. So I will open up to select board comments.
I just wanted to address the Heritage Academy issue, which comes up in email, but since we did have a resident comment, I thought I'd just address it. I know that this is something that Lynn has been working on, and I've talked to Mike about it. There was some, I think, and Lynn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everyone agrees that there was a mistake. But it's because there was a changing of the guard on it in the assessor's office. There was the intention was not to tax the entire value, but the town is trying to figure out how to do it correctly going forward. And that was, so that, I think that's the reason for the delay. And I've heard about it a number of times from people beyond this email, and it's being addressed. I think it was done kind of on a handshake deal 3 years ago, and we're trying to now do it correctly so that it doesn't happen again, no matter who's in the assessor's office. And also, we did also skip kudos applause, so we've done that one. But that used to be part of select board comments anyway, so I will just say it. I went to the Cultural Council concert on the Green last week. I know they've been doing them all summer. That was the only one I've been to, but it had a huge crowd. It was really well attended. People had a great time. A lot of fun. There was some dancing. And so thank you to everyone who puts that on, and for the Cultural Council for stepping up and doing those events that had people of all ages at it. It was fun.
Were you dancing?
No, I got yelled at after for not dancing. Good question.
Anybody else? No. All right.
I just have, oh, sorry,
Oh,
Dan.
oh, go
I
ahead.
couldn't come
Yeah,
off mute
go ahead.
fast enough. Just
Yeah.
one item, just for note, I think it's, we're gonna have it on our next, one of our upcoming agendas, I think our next agenda around the Water Sewer Commission, with the town having a seat on that commission. Lynn's done a really nice job with taking a stab at drafting a letter to our legislators, and we're going to kind of take the lead with that. So I think just a heads up that we're gonna want to add that to our next agenda, just to review that.
Thank you, Shelley.
Could I make a motion?
Go ahead.
Could I move that we take the quarterly investment report up next?
Yes, thank
So
you.
we can, Erica doesn't have to keep waiting.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was hoping we could do, as well as the next one after that. But I guess I second that motion.
Sorry,
Oh,
discussion?
Sorry, no discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And I will move Erica over.
We just had this.
Hi, Erica.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you for letting me go ahead. I appreciate that. So tonight I'm here to present my quarterly report on the status of the town's cash and investments for the period ending July 30th. At estimate policy, the town held no long-term investments that exceeded the 5-year limit. No single institution held more than 45% of the town's total cash and investments. All banks received the highest safety rating of green from Bear Bank, and all accounts were fully insured or secured. In the final quarter of fiscal year 2026, we have seen interest rates remain fairly steady. There were a few decreases, but none that were noteworthy. The treasurer and assistant treasurer are closely monitoring interest rates and moving funds to the appropriate accounts that will optimize investments with the best return. All institutions received a green rating from Bear Bank. At the end of the quarter, I also changed our Bear Bank subscription from a quarterly email to an online platform version. This change allows for monthly updates and provides a much more comprehensive look at each institution. With the financial landscape changing so quickly, this update required a small price increase, but provided a significant improvement in services. For a brief look ahead, we have been notified that Adams Community Bank will be merging with Pittsfield's Cooperative Bank, and the merger is set to complete in late fall 2026, subject to regulatory approvals. They have announced that the bank's new name will be Trailmark Bank, and similarly, Bank ESB has announced that they will be changing their name to True North Bank in August. The OPEB Pension Reserve Investment Fund experienced a gain in quarterly interest. The quarter ended with a net increase of approximately $866,000, and the June 30th balance in the fund is approximately $10,400,000. Also noteworthy during the last quarter, the town earned a total of over $1 million in interest. The Treasurer's Office will continue to seek the best possible interest rates and diversify funds appropriately to maximize investment potential while being in compliance with Massachusetts state laws and regulations. We will also continue to monitor all accounts to ensure safety and liquidity of all investments.
All right. Thank you, Erica. Always looking out for the town's best interest. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions? Do we need to make any motions? No? Okay. All right. That's it. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone.
You too. Thank you. All right. And if we have Ian on, if we could go to new business. Do we have to make a motion to move? No. Do we have
You
to-
did on the last
Okay,
one,
we did.
so-
Okay, all right.
Wait, sorry, this is for the new financial policies?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ananda, are you here to present on anything?
I'm just here in case you have questions, but I've never attended a whole meeting, so it's been fascinating.
And which agenda item are you here?
I don't
Yeah, it's the applications, we're just gonna jump, okay.
Do you want to rip through all the street closures and then go to that?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I will move to approve the first responder night application to close Longmeadow Street east of the Green between William Street to Center School from 4 to 8 p.m. for first responder night.
Second. Any discussion? Nope, roll call.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Okay, and I will move to approve the street closure application submitted by First Church to close Longmeadow Street east of the Green between William Street to the Montessori School driveway for a memorial dedication on September 11th from 10 a.m. to 12.
Second. Further questions and comments? No. We'll move to roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And I will move to approve the Concord Road block party application to close Concord Road between 160 to 196 Concord Road for a block party to be held on October 24th from 2:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And I will move to approve the one-day liquor license submitted by St. Mary's Guild for an event to be held on September 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. at St. Mary's Parish.
Second. Further discussion? No. We'll move to roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And now we're on to the mobile food vendors on town property.
Yeah, I can make a motion.
Go for it.
Okay. I will move to approve the Latest Craze dessert trailer request.
Second. Discussion, seeing none, we'll go to a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Okay. I think
No
we're-
questions.
You can't leave now, though.
You want to see the coupon we're gonna
We can-
Is that it?
That's it, yeah, it's,
Thank you.
Sorry for making you wait.
It's like, yeah, it's totally fine. It's like, well, this is all recorded anyhow.
thank you for coming in, and come back again.
Oh, maybe they'll be one second.
I'd like to move to, excuse me, new business, if we could, and then we can go back, because we have Ian. Ian's here on the line with us.
Should I make a motion?
Sure,
Okay.
please.
I'll move that we take up the new financial policies, DOR, DLS, best practice recommendation, continued discussion, agenda item.
Second.
Mr. Zwerko?
Oh, sorry, no discussion, roll call, yes.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemaphathy?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
All right, Ian, thanks for joining us. Try to get
No
you out here
problem.
a little early. Go ahead.
Sure. So thank you guys for having me on. Just some updates as to where we stand with the financial policies. So there are two main sections of the policies, the administrative side as well as the management side, which deals more with the current select board policies in place. There are a couple items that will need to be discussed with the board as to either suggestions and or guidance on. The biggest items being OPEB. One of the questions that I have for the board is our current best practice does not include a funding target. Unlike our retirement system, the Hamden County retirement system has a funding target of 2036. question for the board is there a funding target that we want to use, or is it better served if I poll our surrounding communities and see what other communities use as a funding target? Just as an additional point, this is a pay-as-you-go system, so there is no statutory requirement to fully fund this. However, spelling it out within the policy gives us a guidepost to say whether or not we are making progress towards it. I can go towards other ones, but if there's discussion on this point, I can stop.
Yeah, I think I would ask surrounding communities, not to sound too overly cynical, but, and we could put a date on it, but it's gonna be, unless it's 600 years out, we're never gonna hit it. And then I just risk that we're going to continue to fall short of our own goal, unless it's really realistic. But I don't know what that date will be. So I would ask what other communities are doing, because I know we're not alone in our position.
Perfect, thank you. Moving on to other items. Another one in particular is capital and debt in capital planning specifically. So the two main points I want to discuss with the board are related to our debt management targets as well as our capital funding targets. Currently, we have, as you are well aware, policy that our debt service remains within 12% of our operating expenditures as a general fund basis. The current best practices of the DLS financial policies that are recommended to us don't give us a specific range, and they use communities, they don't have a specific range that communities look at. So my question to the board is, I can keep the policy target the same. I don't know if there's any appetite to either tighten it or loosen it. A little caveat being that in terms of what the impact would be to our bond ratings, the bond rating agencies tend to not like if we loosen our financial policies in regards to the debt markets, but they can understand it if we have more triggers and or carve-outs to say, if we were to go over the policy, here are the steps that we would take in order to rectify that.
Ian, is this what we talked about with the finance committee? I feel like this came up.
We have talked about it in the past. There's a lot of different pieces within this financial policy document, so I apologize if I'm kind of coming at you full force here.
No.
I was going to say a similar topic, Dan. What is the group's thought about asking our finance committee to take a review at this and help us come up or kind of come to us with a recommendation from a finance perspective? Just even if it's just around the capital planning or the debt management thresholds, we have a group of committee members who have a lot of experience and knowledge. They might have a couple suggestions for us. I don't know if that's something that is a normal request to engage the committee on. I guess I would ask Ian or the group who's been on the board longer to know if that's an appropriate request, but I know we talked about engaging that committee a little more regularly. Would this be a good topic to ask them to help us review the policies and come with a recommendation?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't think this has come up before in terms of suggesting the finance committee should take a look at this. I think usually it's like at the 11th hour when we're maybe during the budget season and we have this always kind of come up. We're out of policy if we do this, and then there's an effect on the bond rating potentially. But I think it's a good idea. Maybe something we should consider. Vineeth?
And Ian, right now I think isn't our debt percentage around 14%?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so, and I think that this, at least, I know that when we were talking about municipal fiber and everything, the fact that we are already outside of, or in violation of our internal policy here, that was, I think, created confusion, and folks, were saying, well, we're already, out of compliance here, so how could we possibly think about taking on any more debt or anything like that? So I think we do need to look at this, and if, and we are in violation because of the middle school building project, because it was such a large project. And I think if there is even something in the policy that can spell out caveats or things that we would take into consideration when going out of compliance, or even raising that number, because we have such a big project, I do think that needs to be looked at.
I think, just on that, I think that the former idea, I think, is better, because the reason it was, it was such an expensive project, but the reason it got us over the top is because we also have other projects. Everything is expensive, so we have to borrow, but I think we'll get back under 14%, so I think we should keep our goal a more conservative goal to not get out of hand, because if we want to keep within at 14, then it's easy to talk yourself into 16, like we did with 14. So I definitely think we should keep it low, and the way to do that is to have, if you have this expense, try to structure your debt so it's coming down within X number of years. So I think that's the way to go.
And I think that now also, because of so many years where we haven't made these big infrastructure investments, and now we have a select board that's interested in making infrastructure investments, I think that it just, it might necessitate us saying we need to take on some more debt if we actually want to tackle some of these things. We just heard a presentation about a possible $14 to $18 million project that's needed.
Yeah.
So.
Beneath, I was thinking the same thing, and I think it, based on one of our prior meetings, we haven't looked at this debt management policy or threshold in a while, right? So it might make sense for us just to have that review, and I think it would be helpful to get the finance committee's recommendation to weigh in. And to Josh's point, I agree, we don't want to start to just really loosen up the strings for all the reasons you mentioned, Ian, but it might be good to get that committee's expertise to help us determine whether we adjust it or not, simply because of all the reasons I think Beneath just mentioned, whether it's the fiber proposal, that's a great example, but to his point, there's a lot of great projects before us, and we know there'll be more coming, so how can the select board be best prepared to make those decisions? I think that would be really helpful.
There's a lot of great projects. There's also a lot of sewer projects and things that are great in a different way, but it's not something people see and get excited about. It is, but we got 95 other miles of sewer that are gonna have to be done at some point.
And Ian, with the 14% number we have, does that include debt that is, serviced through our like our enterprise funds?
So the way the current policy is written is, yes, it would be included. We could certainly have the policy written more specifically to look at enterprise debt versus general fund debt, because I think it's important to note that most of our debt is Prop 2.5 excluded debt. So this is absorbed outside of the budget. It is not something that we directly impact. It's absorbed by property taxes. So if we are able to say we keep our enterprise debt within a certain limit, let's say 10%, that's something that we can hold ourselves to specifically.
Yeah, to me, I think that's an important distinction, is enterprise debt, versus other debt. And then also, I think in thinking about what we want to do with the debt policy, to me, I don't know if it's the most important thing, but one of the most important things is the effect that it'll have on our bond ratings. Because that can, if we get a lower bond rating, that could throw everything out of whack.
It's definitely not worth risking that.
Well said, Vineeth, and everybody. Ian, anything else you wanted to touch on?
The only other thing I wanted to touch on is the DLS has best practices related to free cash and retained earnings, specifically funding targets. So I wanted to mention to the board that one of the pieces that I'm looking at and am interested in some feedback on is specific appropriations from free cash. What I mean by this is the best practices say that if the town of Long Meadow got, say, $3 million of free cash, that a certain percentage should go into the capital stabilization fund, a certain percentage in the operating stabilization fund, a certain percentage for capital, and then a certain percentage for putting to next year's free cash. This is not something that we do currently, and it would be a very big change from what we currently practice. So I wanted to hear some feedback from the board as to their thoughts on this.
I mean, I would just say it's tough to dedicate like certain percentages, especially I feel like in a town like Long Meadow with all the projects and needs that we have and that we've seen just over the years. I just feel like it's almost like it's just meant to be broken in terms of not having a set percentage. I would like it to. I think we're not sitting here just trying to spend money in any way possible. I think we're trying to do it in the best interest of the town and the needs that we have. But I would probably be opposed to having a set percentage unless. I just think it needs to be very flexible, especially with our needs in the town. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dan.
It's not something I'm necessarily tied to. I just wanted to get the feedback of the board. I can understand your point, Dan.
Yeah, and just I think I agree with Dan. I think with how tight our budget is every year, it's it's playing. It's a puzzle to offer a balanced budget, and I think we need as much flexibility as possible.
I agree.
All right. Well, thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I will take the notes that I received from the board and we'll report back.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. So I guess we should go to the. Did we do the approval of minutes? We're jumping around a little bit. All right.
You could have correspondence and town manager.
Yeah, we could go back to correspondence. I know Josh touched on one of the correspondence. Anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, I had one thing to add on the bikes and scooters. I read did Westfield just pass a law on this?
I don't know, but I know that they're doing a lot of education around it. I don't know if it's a new law.
I think Westfield, I read it in the Republican, I think it's Westfield, has an ordinance that I wonder if we should take a look at. I have not noticed it quite as bad recently, but I see more kids doing wheelies on their scooters now, which is a different kind of fear to watch. But I wonder if it's something we want to take a look at, because it doesn't seem quite as rampant, but it doesn't mean it's not out there. And we don't want somebody getting hurt, as we've discussed a million times.
Yeah, it came up in a conversation Chief Stocks and I had earlier today, actually, about the e-scooters. And the way our current bylaw is written, they're actually not allowed in town except for on your private property.
Yeah, it is Westfield. So we should take a look what they did, but I think it kind of just apes state law, which gets us back to enforcement.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Josh. Lynn, we have the town manager's report. Seems like it's a pretty long one.
Yeah, it's been a while.
If you want to summarize, please do.
Yep, and I'm sure you're gonna have questions on at least some of these. So the L project, if you've driven through town at all, you've noticed that it's massively under construction. It seems that construction is changing every couple of days in terms of where they're moving. DPW is staying in really close contact with MassDOT and the contractor. There was a meeting last week to do a new traffic plan for the intersection work that was going to take place on Converse and Laurel. This necessitated closing that intersection. It was originally planned for a couple days last week, then it got pushed to today. So it was closed today and it will be closed tomorrow. When they do that, they close Converse from 7 to 3. So it's been just a lot of monitoring the traffic conditions and the current detours that are in place. We have been looking at the complaints that have come in for Ellington. We've also received complaints on Dover and some houses that are near where Triangle Park is. So it's been a challenge. We can't make a change in one area without it impacting another area. And we've been reluctant to make a change on a specific street, knowing that we're just constricting where all of that traffic can go anyway. So we were thinking about putting up traffic counters. This was early last week in some specific areas. There's about 20 streets that are part of the detours. We were going to put counters in some of those specific areas. We don't have enough to do that. We couldn't get our hands on other counters from other communities or PVPC in a short enough amount of time where that data would have been useful given how rapidly the traffic detours are changing. So we are just back to where we were right now, which is we're going to continue to monitor it and make sure things stay safe. The bulk of the Converse Street and Laurel Street intersection work is going to be completed on or about September 1st. We do know that school starts next week, so we're going to be hyper vigilant about that to make sure that people can get to school safely. But we don't have any plans to close any streets to through traffic. We will be adding some more detour signs along Long Meadow Street because it does appear like we could use a few more between Converse and Bliss. There's only a couple there, whereas the Forest Glen side, there's a lot more. So that's something we're hoping to increase, but other than that, that's what we have planned for this point. The MVP grant for Cooley Brook work, I know you guys had a presentation on that earlier in the spring. Unfortunately, we were not awarded. This is our second time trying to get that grant. So it means that work at Cooley Brook is just on hold. We don't have another funding source for it right now. Middle school building project, the committee voted on the 90% design. We expect to have 100% design documents by the end of September. Western Drive water and sewer improvements has started with Ludlow Construction installing the water lines on Western Drive, Hillcrest North to Western Drive. The majority of the service connections have also been completed. They're going with only Sterling and Warwick remaining to be done. Then they're going to continue work along Field Road, Pleasant View, Wildflower Lane, and south of Hillcrest Ave. The remaining work will happen through the end of the fall. This will obviously have some roadway impacts as they're doing these water lines, but that's primarily Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. And then the sewer rehab work is expected to take place in September and October, with the last of the work happening in the spring of 2027. For good news, we did get a FY 2027 community mitigation grant in the amount of $32,600. This is part of the Mass Gaming Commission. We've been really aggressive in going after these grants every time they become available. Great partnership with the public safety divisions every time we do this, and we have a terrific rep on our local gaming commission advisory committee who keeps us in the loop and keeps Long Meadow at the forefront of their discussions So thank you to Lou Cornett for his work there. This grant covers a public safety drone program that we've been eager to try to get off the ground. The fire department's going to serve as the lead on this, but it has helpful impacts for police and actually DPW. And so we're happy to get that going. And then lastly, attached to my report, you'll see a memo authored by the DPW director sent to the school superintendent. This relates to the exploratory work that was done for the LHS sewer repair. We were hoping it was going to be more than exploratory work. We were hoping to actually fix the long-standing sewer pitch issue at the high school that contributes to backups. Unfortunately, that did just turn into exploratory work because they are not able to run the line back far enough to get the proper grade and pitch that's needed. So we are going to have to look at a much more comprehensive design, which will likely need a pump system in place, which adds obviously to the design and cost. This is not going to be something that we'll be able to do during any sort of week-long break. It would need to be a summer project next year if we can get the design done and come up with a funding source. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions that you have. Yeah.
Was that, the sewer line, was that a legacy issue, or is that 15-year-old construction that they just messed up?
It's a little of both.
Great. Just curious.
Yeah, so we do have a workaround in place. It's not the best, but it's doing a great job. We have weekly jetting happening. So they were on like a monthly, or it was previously quarterly, then they increased it to monthly, and now it's on a weekly schedule. Between the pitch of the line and the unfortunate bathroom habits of people flushing things that shouldn't be flushed, it's prone to backing up.
Like vapes and stuff?
Vapes, flushable wipes that are not flushable, and rags, unfortunately, but that has pretty much, the rags have stopped.
That's good.
Yeah.
So where would the construction actually take place? I mean, like.
The sewer line?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is literally right in front of the elevator, inside the building.
Huh.
That is where this line connects it wise together. Actually went and saw the hole and saw the line. And it's not work that can be done while school's in session. It will likely take longer than a week break, so it will be something that will need to have a longer duration when school's out.
Is it affecting just one of the bathrooms, or?
No, once it hits that line, it tends to back up into the wing that goes past the library towards Grassy Gutter.
Okay.
There's one specific staff area that is prone to the backups there.
All right. And then the only other thing I had was on the traffic patterns, and with because we obviously spoke, but I was getting some complaints from Ellington Road residents, and the feedback. I mean, this is not just your feedback. You're talking to public safety officials that are suggesting this is the best option for the town of Long Meadow and the residents. I mean, I really appreciate everyone's patience during this time. I just want to be sure that this is coming also from public safety people that are saying this, that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, we have looked at this at least 3 times in the last 2 weeks, myself, DPW, police. And there is no question there is more traffic on Ellington, without a doubt. There's more traffic on Dover, on likely Farmington, like anywhere the cars can go that is not in that construction zone, there's definitely more traffic right now. We know it's a limited duration. The other thing we talked about doing is we could put up no through traffic signs. The problem is they're not enforceable, and we don't have the staff to sit and actually pull people over if they cut through that road. We can't enforce that. So will it maybe prevent some cars from turning down there? Possibly.
I think it will. And I don't remember why we had this come up a few years ago, but we put them at the end of our streets. There must have been work being done somewhere.
It was the water line work.
A water line, yeah.
Yep.
And so it noticeably lessens it. And I'm not home during the day, so I don't see it, but I hear about it from my friends in Ellington. And they definitely noticed a difference before. I don't think enforcement, we get that, we can't have a cop on every corner, and everyone gets that, I think. But if it's possible to move some of the traffic along to go to Bliss, then I think that'll go a long way towards making people happy and feeling safer.
So some of the, besides the no enforcement aspect, we don't like to put signs up that we can't enforce. The other internal conversation we were having is, how are we gonna handle other requests for other roads? Are we going to put these up everywhere, or is there some threshold for this street gets it, but this one doesn't? And so we just wanted some equity to that if we were going to go down this road of, no through traffic signs. We don't necessarily have to solve that tonight. If you direct me to put those signs up tomorrow, we'll put them up. But just, this isn't the only street that we're hearing from.
No, I get that, but like Converse to Bliss, I think there's 3 cross streets. So, I don't know, as part of our planning on these things, that could be, what's the next logical main street that should have a detour to it?
Yeah, so it's happening before you even get to Converse too. The cars are coming off of 91, or coming up Long Meadow Street, and they're cutting down, I can never remember that name of that street where the stores are, but they're cutting down there where Triangle Park is.
Benedict Terrace?
Yes, thank you. And then on the other end of it, they're cutting through Dover because they don't want to wait in the detail traffic. So those are the other 2 that I would expect we would hear something from.
Harwich and Dover right there.
Yeah.
Off of Converse.
Yeah. It's been different this week because Forest Glen, you can't go down it between 7 and 3 right now. So that's not happening this week, but next week could be.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, Lynn. Now I feel like I've completely lost where we are.
I think we just have to approve the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the July 20th, 2026 Select Board meeting minutes.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to a roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemafti?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
All right.
Move
I
we
think-
adjourn?
Yeah, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Zwerko?
Yes.
Ms. Maynard DeWolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hemafti?
Yes.
And Mr. Levine?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in September.
Thank you. Good night.